Hello to my third grade Parkland artists and every artist that's joining me on this channel. It's me, Mrs. P, your art teacher, just logging in to say hey, to let you know that I love you and I miss you, and I hope that you and your families are doing well. Thanks for joining me on this second video, for which we're going to be going through the second part of our project that we started together last week. Hopefully you either got the hard copy of the project or you were able to access the project through Teleschool or any other digital resource that we're using to make sure that our creativity is kept going. And so we started our third grade self-portraits last week, but specifically we're talking about drawing our self-portraits of pictures of us in motion. That means we learned how to use specific lines, or were reminded on how to use specific lines like zigzags, curved, diagonal lines to show our bodies or parts in motion. And so we did some step-by-step parts on how to do that, or some instructions on how to do that. And so if you did it on your own, good for you. Thank you for keeping up the great work. And if you wanted to follow along with the video, feel free to check that one. But for this one, we are going to continue with the second half of this project. I'm going to add some more details. I'm going to show you some steps and some different ways of adding color to your self-portraits and yourselves in motion. And we're going to talk about some extra things you can do afterwards once you're finished with this project. Okay, are you ready? Let's go. Okay, artists, here we are. We're jumping into our third grade self-portraits. The vocabulary, just as a review: self-portrait is a picture of yourself. Foreground are the things that are the largest in your piece of artwork, the things that are in the front. Middle ground are the things that sometimes are about medium size. You draw them a little smaller. They're middle of your paper, and things are in the background. All the things that are behind the other things that are in your picture or your artwork. It helps to fill in the empty space too. We talked about motion, how to draw ourselves moving. That means we're able to draw ourselves not standing still, but doing something like running or jumping or dancing. And we're also talking a little bit about size, because when we're drawing things farther into the background, we tend to draw them a little smaller so that they look farther away. The standard that we're working with is understanding and applying media, techniques, and processes and concepts of two-dimensional art. Remember, 2D means flat work. So we're starting, or we're doing drawing, which is flat, okay? So last week, you guys walked along with me as I drew my self-portrait. In fact, I drew myself and my imaginary twin in this self-portrait because I wanted to show you a couple of different ways that you could draw yourself in motion, and some different ways you could use lines to draw yourself in motion. For example, I started my first self-portrait. This is the original twin, I guess, with my face. I drew my body. That includes my torso. That's my chest and stomach. And I use zigzag lines to draw my arm bent. I use diagonal lines, not slanted lines, to draw my leg extended because I'm running. I also use curved lines. You see, I just drew this leg right off the paper. I'm running so fast, to show myself in motion. And another set of zigzag lines here to show myself in motion as well. Now, I also did a little fancy stuff here. I did a profile, which means it's your face from the side. And so if you wanted to, you could do this. I drew myself from the side. I drew my head back here. I'll do it again. And I'll just draw over it with more of my locks, using lines to represent my locks here. Drew my body again, just in case you need to see how it's done. And again, use kind of a curved line here. Went back to my body, curved there, and connected them. I did the same thing here. Started here. I used a curved line. To show this leg being bent, which means I am in motion, I am moving. If you really want to add some details and make yourself look extra fast, these are called motion lines. They're quick lines. Ever watch cartoons and these are sometimes behind the person or the character that's running? Feel free to add some motion lines. So for this part, I'm going to add a few more details to the items that are in my background, the objects. I decided to draw my neighborhood, so I have some houses in the back. Remember, the things that are in the front, in the foreground, are largest. The things that are in the middle ground are a little little smaller than the things in the foreground, and the things that are in the background are extra small because we want them to look far away. So I'm going to add a few more details here. Then I'm going to add some windowsills to this house over here. Something simple. I think I'm going to add my necklace because, you know, I always wear a necklace every day. Maybe add some pockets to my jeans. Maybe my twin will be wearing the same thing. Add some buttons to my shirt. Add some buttons to my imaginary twin shirt. And maybe add some laces to our shoes. Another pocket here. So I'm finished adding some details to mine. You continue to add some details to yours, okay? You take your time and do that, but what I'm going to do is show you how I'm going to add color. If you happen to have crayons, that's awesome. If you don't worry about it. I'm going to show you another way to add color. But first, we're always going to start with our background that has the most empty space. So I happen to have some crayons here, and so I'm going to start adding some color to the background. My sky is blue. Your sky could be any color that you want it to. You're the artist. Artists get to make these type of decisions, you know? We have a lot of power artists, and we can just make things as different as we want to. So feel free to do that. But for this example, I think I'm just going to go with cerulean, this type of blue that we're using here. I'm going to try to fill in the background space, and I try not to have any empty white space on my page, as you guys know or hopefully remember. So as you're working by yourself, don't forget to do that as well. I want to make sure that every space has some color in it. So I'm going to finish filling in my background space. I'm moving a little quickly just because I want you to have enough time to get your work done as well. Because I can always go back and fill that in, which I am going to do a little later, okay? And I'm also going to take my pencil. If you don't have crayons or colored pencils available, it's no problem to use a pencil. Or even if you have one crayon available, let me show you how to use value. Value is when you take one color and you show the color at its darkest. I am pressing so hard to make this color look extra dark for my roof. So I'm trying to create a really dark value for this color, or pressing really, really hard. And I can use this same pencil to make a lighter value by pressing lighter. So even though I'm using the same color, the space still looks a little different because the value is different. The color is lighter here than it is on the roof. And I could press it a little harder here. Add a different value for the windowsill and a lighter value inside. I could also do it for myself if I wanted to. I could take my pencil and fill in my shirt. Let's say I wanted my sleeves to be a little darker. I'm gonna press a little harder. Another pro tip, I'm also using the side of my pencil. I'm not using the point, I'm using the side. It's kind of slanted. It's kind of laying down a little bit. Makes it a little smoother. I want a darker sleeves. I'm gonna press harder. And even for my skin tone. I have my skin a little lighter in my sleeves, so I'm just gonna press a little lighter and a little darker than my shirt. So I'm gonna press a little heavier there, or even go over it twice. So whatever you have around to add color to your artwork, please feel free to do that. And even if you have one crayon, you can do the same thing. Press hard. If you want it to be darker, and press lighter. If you want it to be lighter. What do you think? So here is my finished self-portrait in motion. Of course, does yours have to look like mine? Absolutely not. I expect it not to. We're artists. We're creative. Mine is just an example of how to add some color and some different ways of adding color and using value in the event you don't have any crayons or colored pencils, like I have in my earring. Shout out to Miss Kelly for the earrings, to add color to your work. But most important, what I'm looking for is your understanding of how to use different types of lines to show yourself in motion. I'm looking for your understanding of how to draw things smaller in the background and larger in the foreground, okay? So that's most important. So when you are finished this work, feel free to send me pictures of it through our teams. Email it to me through my Fulton County address, or feel free to keep in contact with me through this channel. Don't forget to like and subscribe with your families. Share it as well, guys. And just know that I am looking forward to seeing you again. I hope that you all are doing well. Don't forget that I love and I miss you all. You know how to keep in touch with me, so please do, once again, through this channel, through our Teams network, through our email addresses, and through our Parkland website. Until I see you, until I hear from you, young artists, know that I love you and I miss you. Please don't forget to be nice to each other, practice self-control, and help keep each other healthy. Until next time, in next week's project, see you later. And my third grade artists, also don't forget, if you have a hard copy of the lesson plans or if you found them online, don't forget that once you're finished, you have the option, and which I encourage you to do, is to write a list describing where you are, what you're doing, and if you have access to the internet, which means if you're watching my videos, you do, don't forget to try to do some further research on our vocabulary words, okay? Feel free to look those up, find out more about them, add them to your list, and please, whatever you find out, and whatever you decide to write to add to your work, don't forget to share it when you turn it in, okay? Awesome. Love you guys.